Hello, good evening. This is UTV Live.
Tonight at 6, not reliable enough. Sir Geoffrey Donaldson's barrister says there are significant and fundamental issues with the credibility of complainants in his sex abuse trial.
Also ahead, it's revealed the victim of last week's stabbing, which triggered disorder, is out of his induced coma but may still lose his sight.
Recognition for the Strabane man who printed the historic US Declaration of Independence.
Learning more about his life, his formative years in Strabane, his life in America, is very much part of our own wider story.
Plus the rest of the day's news, weather and sport, including...
I'm here at the Middle Ale, Lidl's first ever pub, opening soon right here in Donohoe.
There are significant and fundamental issues with the reliability of the evidence given by two women who claim they were sexually abused by Sir Geoffrey Donaldson when they were children.
The claim was made by the defence in their closing speeches at his trial. The former DUP leader and his wife deny the combined 23 charges against them. Our crime and security correspondent Sharon O'Neill has this from Newry Crown Court.
All eyes still on Geoffrey Donaldson as this trial rapidly heads towards a conclusion. The defence finishing their closing speeches before the judge directs the jury. We heard more from Kieran Vaughan, the former DUP leader's barrister. He has already told jurors to consider the evidence without fear or favour. In total, the barrister took just under 2.5 hours to put his points across to jurors. Mr. Donaldson, you've heard him giving evidence. You will make of him what you will, he said. Kieran Vaughan pointed out that his answers may have appeared long at times, but he told jurors, remember what he did for a living, a politician all his life. What I ask you to do is bear that in mind. It doesn't change the underlying evidence he gave. He went on to criticise the case against the former politician and question the credibility of complainant A and complainant B, the two alleged victims who claim they were sexually abused by Geoffrey Donaldson when they were children, spanning more than a 20-year period up until 2008. The former MP denies all 18 charges against him, including one count of rape. Kieran Vaughan said, "You will see there are significant and fundamental issues with the credibility of each of the complainants. They are not sufficiently reliable enough to drive you to a sure conclusion that he is guilty." The barrister dealt with 3 specific claims relating to complainant A: alleged kissing with his tongue, allegations he rubbed her breasts, and claims he used a light to stare at her private parts. The first 2, he said, did not happen. The third, he claimed, was a misunderstanding, and alleges her evidence about that incident shows she is telling a terrible untruth. Kieran Vaughan claimed she is simply capable of leaving things out of her account for her own ends. She is also capable of adding things in to suit her own ends. Lady Eleanor Donaldson is represented by Ian Turkington. He spent 2 hours putting his case to jurors on behalf of the 60-year-old. He told them she is incapable of giving evidence and incapable of appearing in this court. That's why she's facing a trial of the facts, and stressed that must not be held against her. Eleanor Donaldson, he said, categorically denies the charge of aiding and abetting. He added, "She has been denied the opportunity to look you in the eye in that witness box and give her account." The barrister described the case as ludicrous, claiming it simply didn't stack up. He asked jurors, "Could you be satisfied beyond all reasonable doubt?" He added, "You can bring an end to this nightmare for Eleanor Donaldson and do so by returning verdicts that she did not do the acts alleged." Because Eleanor Donaldson isn't facing a normal criminal trial, she can't be convicted. Jurors instead must decide whether or not she committed the acts. See you in the morning. Those the parting words from Jeffrey Donaldson to his lawyer ahead of another huge day in this trial. Sharon O'Neill, UTV Live, Newry.
The leader of the TUV has defended sharing a cartoon depicting migrants travelling on a bus to Belfast.
The post, which includes a slogan of "Stop the Buses," was shared on Jim Allister's social media channels, but it has also sparked outrage from others who say it is racist. Stuart Robson reports.
2 nights of trouble, dominated by disorder and destruction. These scenes followed the attempted murder of a man in North Belfast. This is the man who allegedly carried it out, Hadi Al-Adid, a 30-year-old Sudanese migrant who travelled to Northern Ireland via Dublin by bus and settled in the city temporarily 3 years ago. Questions surrounding his journey here have ignited further debates about immigration policy. As those debates continue, another has just begun. Whether the leader of the TUV was right to share this cartoon, a depiction of migrants packed onto a Dublin bus en route to Belfast. Branded racist and reckless by some, Jim Allister has defended posting it.
Of course it's a cartoon, but it's making a serious point. Stop the buses that are bringing in illegal migrants to take the benefit of the free housing, the free money and all of that. Those are serious points. This government, and the last, has failed to do 2 things. It has failed to address the pull factors, and it has failed to have checks on the illegal migrants crossing our open border.
The TUV and others argue that the common travel area, which allows free movement between the Republic and Northern Ireland, is being exploited on public transport by illegal migrants seeking asylum in the UK. Operation Gull, a multi-agency task force that includes the Home Office and in Garda Síochána, is charged with tackling abuse of the system. While respecting people's right to debate policy, others believe posting the cartoon during a time of heightened tensions is irresponsible.
I'm working with people who right now are absolutely terrified. I know young children who are too scared to go to school right now for fear of racist attack. And for the TUV to put this out, it just adds further tension that's already palpable in the city right now. At a time when we really needed proper leadership from Northern Ireland, leaders to come together, bring people together to remind us of our common humanity, hope, to our values of empathy and kindness, the TUV have chosen to descend into gutter politics yet again.
The government says there will be a surge in intelligence-led operations, with nearly 1,000 illegal migrants removed from Northern Ireland in the last year. Dozens of buses use this main route linking the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland every single day, crossing effectively what is an open border, bar immigration checks carried out under Operation Gull. How effectively those checks are working, well, opinions remain divided, as they do on this latest social media post. Stuart Robson, UTV Live, County Louth.
This afternoon it's been confirmed that the victim of the attack, which triggered last week's disorder, is out of his induced coma. Stephen Ogilvie was stabbed just over a week ago. Barbara McCann sent this update from North Belfast.
Well, this has been a very traumatic experience for Stephen Ogilvie and his family. He is still very ill in hospital, but the family has posted an update on social media in which they have thanked everyone for their thoughts and prayers. In the post, they say they are relieved to share that Stephen is now out of his induced coma and continuing his recovery, although he still faces significant challenges ahead. He has lost the sight in his left eye and is risking the possibility of losing the sight in his right eye. The family in the social media post go on to thank everyone who has shared and donated to his fundraiser. They said the funds will help Stephen with the equipment, support and everyday items he may need as he adjusts to life following his attack. Your generosity, they said, will make a real difference to his future quality of life. We have been truly humbled by the kindness of so many people, many of whom have never met our family. Thank you all for your incredible support. So more hopeful news this evening for Stephen Ogilvie.
The Education Authority has warned a lack of funding for school repairs could lead to more buildings being closed on safety grounds. It suggests the maintenance backlog could now be anything up to £800 million. Well, let's get more on this from our reporter Paul Riley, who's live outside the EA's headquarters. Paul, is any of this a surprise?
In a word, Michelle, no. We've heard time and again that funding for education is well below what anyone would want it to be. Now, this report from the Education Authority is focused on school building maintenance. EA is responsible for around 1,100 schools across Northern Ireland, each one of them needing repair works of some kind or another. And the EA says that the budget simply isn't going far enough. In fact, preemptive works aren't taking place at all. And you know, with your own home, if there's a small job needing done, the longer you leave it, the bigger the problem it becomes. Now, the EA says this is generating a problem, a growing problem, that more school buildings will have to close on safety grounds and increasing potentially the frequency of classrooms becoming unusable.
So, Paul, how much money does the EA say it needs?
Well, the EA estimates that the current backlog of maintenance works is in and around 600 to 800 million pounds. To put that in context, EA gets about 60 million pounds every year to carry out maintenance works. It says it needs about 90 million pounds just to stand still. So if you factor in eating in at that backlog, it needs more than 90 million pounds. And the reality is budgets in education and across all departments are being squeezed. Now, we reached out to the Department of Education earlier. We haven't heard from them yet, but the National Association of Head Teachers put out a statement, and it simply said that the sticking plaster approach is no longer enough and that urgent action is needed.
Paul, thanks for joining us.
The leading detective in the disappearance of Noah Donohoe has told the inquest that mistakes were made, but those mistakes were not deliberate. It was down to human error.
Detective Chief Inspector Phillips is now the 76th witness to give evidence to the inquest, as Sarah O'Kane reports.
DCI Phillips took over as the senior investigating officer of the case in June 2020 when Noah Donohoe had been missing for 3 days. The 14-year-old schoolboy was found dead in a water tunnel in North Belfast 6 days after he vanished. Today, during the inquest, Mr Phillips continued to be questioned by Fiona Donohoe's barrister, who suggested he pursued the child and not the evidence. He admitted he failed to find answers about what happened to Noah. The jury heard a number of feelings that Noah's mother believes contributed to Noah's death or failure to find him alive, including the failure to use telelocation data, failure to identify the culvert as a place where Noah might be, and serious delay in commencing and conducting the search of that culvert. And when asked about further failings to recover CCTV footage, Mr Phillips defended his PSNI colleagues. He said it was his job as SIO to drive the investigation to ensure the information they had was correct, and in some cases that didn't work. There were some failings and I've apologised for that, but added, this is not to say people involved in this were incompetent. They were good detectives for many years. He said detectives and officers involved in Noah's investigation have worked on many instances, many crimes and other cases that have all worked out very well. So yes, we made mistakes, but they're not incompetent individuals. None of this was done deliberately. It was just human error. Sarah O'Kane, UTV Live.
The family of a County Tyrone man with learning difficulties shot dead by soldiers are to receive undisclosed damages over his killing. John Patrick Cunningham was fatally wounded as he ran from an army patrol in 1974. His relatives sued the Ministry of Defence. Today it was announced the action had been settled without any admission of liability. Military veteran Dennis Hutchings was prosecuted for his attempted murder but died during his trial in 2021.
The Taoiseach has said he will meet with families of those killed in the Creasla explosion, but has said it would be problematic to hold a public inquiry whilst the criminal investigation is ongoing. Micheál Martin was pushed on the issue by the Sinn Féin President, Mary Lou MacDonald, as the relatives met with Oireachtas members this afternoon.
The ICRIR has told a Stormont committee that all requests it has made to An Garda Síochána for information on Trouble's murders have been turned down.
Peter Sheridan and Sir Declan Morgan revealed that during a meeting earlier this year with the Garda Commissioner Justin Kelly, they were told that the Irish government was not permitting the disclosure of information until the UK government passed the legacy legislation currently making its way through Parliament.
Sir Declan and I met with Justin Kelly, the Garda Commissioner, back in January, and there's no reluctance on the Guards, but it's a political issue. You know, the politics of it has to be resolved to allow the Guards to release the information, but there's no response to any of my letters to date. And what will happen at some stage, once I have exhausted an inquiry and that's the outstanding bit of information, then I'll have to either pause the investigation or accept I'm not going to get it and write up the report to Sir Declan for the findings of it, but it will be missing that piece of information.
The United States is celebrating a significant milestone this year, its 250th anniversary. On July the 4th, 1776, the country was born with its Declaration of Independence.
The rest, as they say, is history. But during that decisive period, a man from County Tyrone played a crucial role that was marked in his hometown of Strabane earlier today. Rory O'Regan reports.
Thousands of miles from the most powerful country in the world, a blue plaque remembers a Strabane man who was there for its beginnings. John Dunlap was born in the County Tyrone town in the 1740s before emigrating to the United States at the age of 10 to join his uncle's printing business.
John obviously was part of an Ulster Scots community here, went out as a small boy to the United States, but of course went into an Ulster Scots community in Philadelphia. So there was a huge Ulster Scots community already there. He became part of that community.
Across the Atlantic, Dunlap eventually took over the business and began publishing newspapers. During this period, there were growing tensions between the American colonies and Britain. On the 4th of July 1776, the Declaration of Independence was adopted. Those original copies, printed by Dunlap, gave birth to a new nation.
We mutually pledge our lives.
Learning more about his life, his formative years in Strabane, his life in America, is very much part of our own wider story, the connection between this place and our diaspora. And so it's very important to remember figures like John Dunlap and the contribution they made where they settled. And I think that's a very important thing for us to do today.
Every time I go to a new part of Northern Ireland, I find another story of either a military connection, a financier who went to the United States and made it big. So yeah, those connections are big.
Celebrations are already underway in the US to mark the 250th anniversary, including a mixed martial arts event at the White House over the weekend. Many more events are planned over the coming weeks. It's another chapter in America's history, a story with roots in County Tyrone. Rory O'Regan, UTV Live, Strabane.
Still to come on the programme, the story of the British Army is the story of the Irish soldier. We're on parade in London.
And opening up the Middle Ale, we're taking a look at the new Lidl pub in East Belfast. But first, it's time to look at the headlines making tonight's ITV News at 6:30.
And here's Gamal Fanbula.
Coming up, it begins. Excitement builds to fever pitch for England's World Cup opener. The fans and the players ready themselves for tonight's game against Croatia. The government today confirms a full apology is coming for survivors of the forced adoption scandal. And Jeremy Clarkson reveals he has been diagnosed with prostate cancer. Join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
The cenotaph in London has been the focus of the nation's remembrance for more than a century.
Every November, the cenotaph is central when honouring the service and sacrifice of military personnel who have defended freedoms and protected our way of life. However, it is no mute memorial for the rest of the year, as I've been finding out. On a sunny Sunday in mid-June, veterans march to a familiar beat. They're here to remember soldiers of an earlier generation. When the Irish Free State was established, the regiments were disbanded in 1922. Their colours were laid up in Windsor Castle to be kept in the care of the King and his descendants.
It's worth remembering that this commemoration takes place by royal command of His Majesty King George V from 1922 to commemorate the service and sacrifice of all Irish soldiers who served in the Irish regiments of the Crown.
In June every year, veterans parade to the cenotaph to honour the memory of all soldiers who made the supreme sacrifice while serving in an Irish regiment.
I believe the Irish regiments that were disbanded in 1922 and handed over the regalia, etc., to King George V at Windsor Castle. And he, in accepting them, said that we had the privilege to come here to the cenotaph every year, and we were the only ones to be given that privilege. So therefore we see this as our home.
The salute was taken by Major General Tim Hyans. He knows a thing or two about Irish soldiering. He was commissioned into the Royal Inniskilling Dragoon Guards.
The British Army story is the Irish soldiers' story, not only in terms of the Irish regiments, but those who served from the island of Ireland across the whole of the army. So today is a way of remembering all of those who served, not only in the British Army, but also now in the Irish Defence Force as well.
We honour the memory of all Irishmen, be they Dublin Fusiliers or not. We honour our own Irishmen who died maybe in active service in the Lebanon or in throughout the UN peacekeeping missions that the Irish Army is central to, and they were never more needed than they are at the moment. But the Dublin Fusiliers, we have a very close attachment to our history, and we believe it's important to remember the men who joined the Royal Dublin Fusiliers, whatever the reasons may have been. We honour them. They deserved at least.
Every November, the cenotaph in Whitehall is the site of the National Service of Remembrance. But this commemoration is proof that the monument remains an active place of tribute and historical importance throughout the year.
Rory McIlroy is getting ready to tee off at the third major of the year tomorrow, the US Open. McIlroy is returning to New York to play this week, where he faced a tough time from the opposing fans at last year's Ryder Cup.
Look, I love playing around New York. I love playing in this area. It's got some of the best golf in the world. This is a different, the Ryder Cup is, us versus them, very partisan, very, it's just a different, it's a different beast. So yeah, I have no, was it a rough week for me at times? Absolutely, but it is what it is. If that's the price to pay to live the life that I'm living, then I'm okay with that.
Andy Farrell has named his Ireland squad for international rugby's new competition, the Nations Championship. 8 Ulster players have been included: Cormac Azuchukwu, Tom O'Toole, Tom Stewart, Nick Timoney, Rob Balakoon, Nathan Doak, Stuart McCluskey and Jacob Stockdale will all travel to the Southern Hemisphere for games against Australia, Japan and New Zealand in July.
And Ulster Rugby have signed 3 players ahead of the new season. Argentina international prop Eduardo Bello joins from Newcastle Red Bulls on a 1-year deal. Irish qualified prop Keenan Knox has signed a 2-year contract, and former Ireland Stevens star Shea Mullins has signed a 1-year deal after leaving Connacht Rugby.
Well, it's been described as a world first. It's a pub attached to the side of a Lidl supermarket, and it's in Dundonald in East Belfast.
Yes, the new bar is set to open this week, and it's all been set up as a product of Northern Ireland's strict licensing laws. We sent our reporter Rita Fitzgerald there to find out more.
Now, we all know the middle aisle of a Lidl store. I've lost many hours in those places over the years, but think again, and welcome to the Middle Ale. It's the brand's very first pub. How crazy is that? Gordon Cruikshanks, you are the Managing Director regionally, so congratulations. First of all, I wanted to say, it feels like a sort of an old store, doesn't it?
Absolutely, no, we're so delighted with the look that we've created here. It definitely feels like an old store, and we're extremely privileged to work with local designer Gordon Devaney, who has created many bars across Belfast and internationally as well.
Oh, it's lovely, and the colours really pop, but it wasn't an easy road getting here, an arduous kind of legal road, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, we are finally here. The licensing laws in Northern Ireland are challenging, but we've now reached this point, and it's certainly brilliant to open the pub for the community of Dundonald.
Will there be any more on the horizon?
At the moment, we don't have any plans for any more pubs, but we'll never say never.
Never say never. I just find the whole thing so cute and charming. And look at this. It's a trolley that is no longer a trolley, it's a chair. Well, don't mind if I do. I mean, this is absolutely bonkers. I totally love it. I love it. So you're opening then in the next few days, though, and it is a world first. And it's in Dundonald. I mean, it's sort of like, boom, It's a bit crazy.
No, it's a really proud moment for Northern Ireland because considering the size of our business and our brand, to be able to do this in Northern Ireland is really special.
Well, as I say, you open in the next few days. As I look around me, I think it must be cocktail hour somewhere. So I want to wish you all the very best. This is orange juice, of course. But cheers and thank you.
Cheers.
All the best. Thank you.
Well, it's been quite a nice day weather-wise.
And here's Aisling.
After a wet start, weather predictions are looking bright. UTV Weather, sponsored by the Grant Vortex Boiler.
Hello there and good evening. Well, we've had a few showers around today, but overall good spells of sunshine and a good few hours of dry weather. That's all about to change as we head through tonight. This low pressure centre here, that's pushing away. It's this next weather front that we're paying close attention to. It is going to be a wet, soggy and damp start to tomorrow morning. Outbreaks of rain, difficult driving conditions on the road, surface water spray as well. A lot of low cloud and poor visibility. But as for the rest of this evening, increasingly overnight, there'll be some cloud. By tomorrow morning, then that rainfall starts to arrive in. Temperatures, though, only dropping back to around 13 degrees Celsius, so quite a muggy, close start to Thursday morning. Cloudy with outbreaks of rain everywhere through tomorrow morning. As we head into the afternoon, that rain will start to break up. Some sunshine starts to break through as well. Temperature-wise, it will actually be a touch warmer than today with highs of around 20 degrees Celsius. And where we see that sunshine breaking through, you'll just notice on the graphics here, just the possibility of 1 or 2 showers developing. There could be the odd rumble of thunder in there as well. Now, across the rest of Ireland, some showers here once that early morning rain clears, but a legacy of low cloud, misty, murky conditions down to the southwest. Warmer here as well with highs of 20 degrees Celsius. As we head into Friday, more showers in the forecast. Temperatures around 18 degrees Celsius, so close to average for the time of year, but a little change in the forecast. It looks Saturday now is going to be a dry day with some good spells of sunshine around. Remaining on the warm side as well with maximum temperatures of 20 degrees Celsius, a little bit more in the way of cloud as we head into Sunday. Warmer yet again with highs of 22 degrees. Coming up next, it's your pollen forecast.
UTV Weather, sponsored by the Grant Vortex Boiler.
Making the most of summer, Perry sponsors UTV Pollen Count.
Yes, we're moving into the peak of the grass pollen season. The pollen count will be moderate through Thursday and through Friday. It jumps up to high on Saturday as temperatures start to climb. Have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.
That's the way it is in Northern Ireland this Wednesday tea time. There's no late local bulletin. Why? That's because of the England game in the World Cup.
Yes, Gamal Fanbulla is next with the ITV Evening News. From Paul, me and the rest of the team, thanks for watching. Have a great evening.
Good evening.